Welcome to Let Go, Let EFT, where we are learning and leaning in with you, with your hosts Michelle Puster and Dr. Laura Spiller. EFT is a beautiful model helping people connect with themselves and the people that matter the most, developed by Dr. Sue Johnson. Hi, Dr. Spiller.
Hi, Michelle.
Today we're going to be doing something fun. We've been doing all these EFT and sex therapy videos, and we were thinking, we need to do a mock session and really, obviously it's going to be a mini mock session, but we thought it would be fun to really demonstrate what this might look like and sound like. So do you want to introduce our mock couple?
Yes, we are working with a cisgender heterosexual couple who have been married about 10 years and have 2 young children. As you can imagine, their lives are pretty busy. And while their sexual connection has been a strength in the past, they're finding it harder and harder to connect sexually. And it's starting to build up strain. It's starting to make even regular physical touch, more difficult, less accessible. The wife is reported, feeling kind of just so stressed. And I guess maybe we'll get into we'll just kind of let their experiences unfold as we do the demo, but that's the general setup for our couple. And I don't know about you, but that's a very common situation that I see.
Right. For sure. Yeah, that just to be clear, this is not a real couple. It's the reason we kind of decided on this mock couple that we came up with is because it's such a common such a common dynamic where a couple's sexual relationship was a strength, and then as they get into their careers and have young children, it becomes very strained, and then that can cause a strain on the relationship in general. And so this is a couple that might very well not really be seeking out sex therapy because maybe it's not like a such a huge, only a sex therapy problem. It might be, they might very well seek out just general couples therapy when maybe this is one of the biggest concerns or a concern that they have as well. So they might have other concerns, but we're just gonna focus on this concern in this mock session. And in this, we've already met with each of them. We met them once together and we met them each once individually. And so this is kind of the 4th session. That's kind of where we're pretending to begin from. And we might just go back and kind of do another mock session of how would we even get started with asking the couple about their sexual relationship and some of those initial assessment questions. But this one today is kind of 4 or 5 sessions in.
And we're going to start out with me playing the husband and Michelle being in the therapist role. And then either in this episode, but probably in the next episode, we'll switch it around and then I'll be the therapist and Michelle will be the wife. We'll demo both.
Yes. And we were talking about who would we start with? And I just start with, I kind of trust my gut in the moment. So it might be whoever's in the most pain. It might be whoever's kind of protesting the loudest. But we just decided to start with the husband for no particular reason. Just we had to pick one. So, so shall we get started, Dr. Spiller?
Let's jump in.
All right. So, Jimmy, we've been talking about some of the strengths that you and Caroline have as a couple. We've been talking about some of the things that are a strain. And one of the things that you mentioned is your all-sexual relationship. You talked about how it used to be something that you really enjoyed and looked forward to. And it was kind of easy even in the beginning of your relationship. It was just the way you described it, it was fun and easy. And now you've said it's much more of a strain. It's causing you guys a lot of stress and tension, and even you just said you're starting to fight about, or you've been fighting about your sexual relationship for some time now. So I was wondering if you could say a little bit more about what's not working in your sexual relationship.
Well, I mean, we're not having sex, at least not very often, every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of gotten to where I don't even, ask or try to initiate. You know,
Mm,
it's yeah, really, really hard to hear no or to know the answer is going to be no. Um,
yeah,
I don't know, and I don't want to force her. I don't want to. I mean, that didn't feel good, right? When
no,
you know, like
yeah,
having sex with you kind of out of pity sex,
yeah,
and then I feel like a creep, or just like,
yeah,
um, or there's this sort of pressure to just get it over with. I mean, it's just,
yeah,
yeah, it's kind of sucked the joy out of all of that for us. I mean, and I
right.
don't know how to change it or to get it, I've tried talking to her about it, but it seems she gets really upset.
Mm,
I just sort of then feel like, yeah, I'm like this obligation,
mm,
for her. Um,
yeah. Jimmy, that sounds awful. Yeah, it sounds awful. Like it used to be so fun and connecting and just easy, and now it sounds like you're saying it feels like an obligation for Caroline. It feels like you sometimes feel like a creep. You've gotten to the point where you don't even want to initiate because either, it feels like it's a chore or pity sex or just, yeah, I mean, I even as I'm hearing that and repeating that back, I just feel that ick kind of feeling. And you mentioned like we aren't having sex or hardly ever. How often would you say that you guys are sexual just on average?
I mean, it's really dropped off since our second child. So, I mean, kind of special occasions, we went to a wedding and had a nice weekend where we got, it was easier and, so maybe a few times a year.
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, yeah. So I hear you, something that used to be easy and fun and just kind of like very accessible between the two of you, a fun way that you guys could connect pretty frequently, and I guess a frequency that worked for both of you. Now it feels really inaccessible. Now it's like, I don't even want to initiate. Caroline's not initiating, so no one's initiating. And so now it's really rare. And I hear you as you're talking about it. I can see like this is really painful and upsetting and frustrating. Yeah.
Very.
So can you help me here when you guys do have a sexual experience, who is the one who usually initiates now?
You know, kind of neither of us are like
Mm,
a lot of the time. So, I guess when it happens, it's sort of like there's a little bit more, I don't know what you would call it, maybe just opportunity. So it makes it a little bit easier for me to say, hey,
mm,
I'm looking forward to that time together. You know,
mhm.
might this be a time when we can?
Mm,
But I have to say, like, if I'm not aware there's a better than usual chance, I mean, at this point, I'm not really getting my hopes up or, trying to make something happen.
right. And I
Um,
just want you to let you know, Jimmy, like this is really normal, like for you and Caroline. It's really normal for couples to have had a easy, fun sexual relationship in the past, and then as life comes in and kids come in, and there's more obstacles, and it's kind of like weighs on the two of you. It's really normal to experience less and less. Sexual experiences. And then, of course, if you sort of became the main initiator, and then you're hearing no more and more often, or when you do have sexual experiences, you feel like it's an obligation for Caroline, you feel like she doesn't want to be there. of course you're going to initiate less and less. So I just want you to know it's this experience that you're describing is really, really normal. And I hear you. So it's kind of like when you do have a sexual experience, you kind of are knowing from the situation, something is
Yeah.
feeling like this is more likely to happen. It's so I feel like, there's a good chance either Caroline's going to be interested in being sexual and she's really going to want to be sexual, right? She's not going to be it's not going to feel like an obligation. And it sounds like that's really important to you, huh? Is when you're sexual, you really want to know that Caroline wants to be there with you. Am I getting that?
Yes. I mean, yeah, of course. Yes, exactly. Right. I mean, the worst is when it feels like she's just doing it because she sort of has to, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like a burden. I don't know. Just, yeah. I mean, yeah, the difference between, yeah, being excited and kind of feeling like she wants to have sex and this place that we're in where it's like, I feel like I'm putting something unwanted on her. It's just, oh, so different.
Yeah, and what does that say to you if Caroline is sexual but doesn't really want to be there, if it seems like an obligation, a chore, like you said before, pity sex, what does that say to you about how she feels about you or how she feels about the relationship or your sexual relationship?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like our connection doesn't matter, our relationship doesn't matter.
Mm,
All been replaced. I mean, I mean, I guess that's the fear too, right? That we're just like moving in. I mean, I don't want our relationship to be just like roommates and co-parents.
right.
There's,
Yeah.
and for me that sexual part is important, right? I mean, I don't, it's a way I feel close to her. It's a way I feel, yes, I guess, may sound kind of weird, but like I still feel special to her. I mean, I don't know about, it's kind of strange for me to say that, but, um,
Yeah. That doesn't sound
I mean,
strange at all.
I mean, you know, yeah, and, I'm just even like, I can feel a little bit mad in this moment too, because like, I don't believe in, I mean, she's the one I can have sex with, right? That's part of what I believe that the vows are about. Um,
Hmm.
and I don't know what to do with, if we're not having sex. I mean, it's just,
You
yeah.
don't know what to do with your own sexual desire or your own.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I can masturbate, but that's like not the same as having sex with your wife. Yeah,
Right,
um,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, I hear you. It's like, I don't even know what to do. I don't know what to do
yeah,
about this. And I also hear how important it is for you that Caroline wants to be there with you, that she
yeah,
says and does things, and her body language says, I'm excited to be here with you. I want to be here with you. I want to have this sexual experience with you. And that's when you feel connected to Caroline. That's when
yeah,
you feel closer to her. And and it sounds like when you don't get those signals, that's when it feels like pity sex. That's when it feels like maybe I'm trying to remember what you just said a moment ago. Maybe it feels like our relationship doesn't matter to Caroline or
yeah,
our
yeah.
sexual relationship doesn't matter. Maybe, and there's a little
It's
bit
just like in some way, yeah, I'm unwanted there. Like, I just almost had that feeling of like, yeah, I mean, I turn her off, but I guess,
right.
yeah, that really doesn't feel good, somehow.
Yeah, you really question, am I really wanted by Caroline, right? I know she
Yeah.
wants me. I know she loves me. I know that she, wants to
She
be
appreciates the help, the fact that we,
right. I know
do
she
the other
like
stuff, but
right. She appreciates like the logistical part of our relationship and how we can like show up together as co-parents or how
yeah,
we run the house together. But you really want to know that you're special to Caroline, that you really want to know that you're wanted by Caroline, that she's attracted to you. Because that's what kind of makes your relationship special than other friendships and other relationships that you guys have with each other, huh? Is that ability to connect on a deeper level.
Yeah.
And I hear you. When you're talking about this, what's really striking me is it's not just sex you want. Because I remember from you, Caroline, that you kind of that's the message that you've been getting over and over. It's like you get this feeling that Jimmy just wants sex, 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 and then that kind of hits your brakes. But it sounds like, Jimmy, that you're very clear it's not just sex you want because when you have sex and it feels obligatory, it feels like a chore,
Right.
it feels like pity sex, and you're not reading from Caroline's body language that she wants to be there, it
Mhm.
is not the sex you're looking for. And
Right.
actually,
Right.
you've stopped seeking it out because it's like, ugh, not only does it not feel good, not only is that not what you're looking for, it actually, it sounds like it feels worse. Because
Yes.
now not only does it not feel like you want to come close to me, that I'm special to you, but it feels like, ugh, like I'm kind of like I'm a burden to you, or I'm kind of like you're just doing something for me. And
Yeah.
it just, yeah, I mean, when you said that, it just kind of like you had this look on your face
Yeah.
of almost like of disgust. Like,
Yeah. That's how I was feeling, like that she kind of just looks at me as like with, disgust or just, yeah, like
mm,
gross or I don't know. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely does not feel good, Ugh.
yeah, yeah. No wonder. No
Mm.
wonder you've stopped initiating any kind of
Yes.
sex. And no wonder it's much more rare. Yeah, and I hear you. That was really, those sexual experiences were actually really painful, it looks, sounds
Yeah.
like. When you
Yeah.
think of that disgust, like when Caroline just wanted, it felt like, we'll hear from Caroline, but it felt like it was just a chore, an obligation, or pity sex. Can you feel that disgust somewhere inside of your body as you're
I
talking
mean, yeah,
about
I just feel it at the base of my throat. It kind of just feels like a little bit of like nausea, Mm.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly the opposite of how you want to feel when you want to be sexual with Caroline, huh?
Right.
Yeah, of
Exactly.
course. Yeah, it makes you feel sick that Caroline doesn't want to be there with you, that she would just be doing that out of obligation. It's like,
Yeah.
ugh, that's not what you want at all.
Hmm.
So if I'm understanding correctly, Jimmy, that you're really missing Caroline. You're missing your sexual relationship, but you're missing her wanting to be sexual with you. You're missing her wanting to be there with you because when she wants to be there with you, you feel special and wanted. You feel closer and more connected. And
Yeah.
part of what got you to where you all are now is that you went through this period of time where you kept initiating and Caroline would kind of give in, and that's kind of what it felt like. And we'll check in with Caroline, kind of would give in and just be sexual. And
Hmm.
it felt like an obligation. It felt like pity sex. And so eventually, and you also mentioned that you would hear no a lot. So, right, that you would anticipate being rejected the other half of the time.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, or you would have sex, but it would kind of just, feel like this obligatory sex. So over time, you stopped initiating as well. Right. I can totally understand that. And how is it just to kind of put the pieces of this puzzle together a little bit, like how we got to where we are?
And I do feel relief talking about it, because we haven't really, it's been hard to talk about.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, I can hear how painful it is. And I mean, for most couples, sex is a taboo topic. It's taboo in our culture. We don't talk about it with oftentimes our friends or our parents never talk to us. So we're kind of like the blind leading the blind. And then we get into our relationship with our partner when everything's going good. We don't really need to talk about it. When it starts to go sideways, we don't know how to talk about it. So I hear you. It's like this
Yeah.
awful thing you've both been stuck in.
I don't want to bring
And
more negativity to it, right? Just fighting about
yeah,
it, that's not going to work.
right, right. So I'm wondering if you could turn to Caroline and let her know I stopped initiating sex because either I was anticipating that you wouldn't be, you would say no, or even worse, you would say yes, but it felt like an obligation. It felt like pity sex, and really, it just kind of it made me feel, um, kind of disgusting to be having a sexual experience with you that you didn't really want to be part of. And so that's why I stopped initiating those, for the most part at all. Could you let Caroline know that?
Yes, I can. Um, um, Caroline, I stopped initiating because it just, yeah, it felt so bad to hear no. But it also felt really bad to kind of have you say yes and just feel like you were just going through the motions and it was obligatory. And yeah, I mean, there's just this way I kind of just feel, you know, yeah, some gross, unwanted feeling around it. And so, yeah, it made me just pull back and not even try.
Yeah. Wow, Jimmy, that's great. I mean, you really did a great job there of letting Caroline know very clearly
Mhm.
why you stopped initiating. Not because you've ever stopped wanting Caroline or you're any less attracted to her, but you just really felt stuck. And so we'll pause the
Okay.
role play. And what we would normally do is kind of check in with Caroline, and then the last step of the tango, put the bow on it. But I want to ask Laura, how was that for you to be Jimmy in this role play? What did that feel like?
I really could feel that kind of tightening up, that feeling of being, I mean, I definitely was feeling that sense of how bad that feels to feel unwanted in the relationship, and that nausea was truly there for me. And it felt really good to have the understanding and the reflection and the empathy that was coming from you, Michelle. It's so lonely, I think. And I could really feel the opening up of being able to have someone trying to understand and, yeah, organizing my experience. So I could, that felt like a relief,
Yeah,
too.
yeah. And
Um,
something that we couldn't demonstrate here is I would be watching Caroline the whole time, right? I would be watching, how is she taking this in? George Fowler talks about red light, green light, yellow light. And so I would be looking for, green light is kind of like listening with empathy. Maybe her eyes are filling with tears, but she's listening and she's kind of, it looks like what she's hearing is helpful. Yellow light might be kind of, maybe she wants to protest, maybe she hears something that triggers some kind of painful feeling inside of her. So I might say, can I pause you there, Jimmy? Caroline, what's happening for you? I noticed that you just kind of looked down and away, or you looked really angry, or you looked like you were about to say something. So we would be checking in with Caroline the whole time, right? We wouldn't kind of flood her with something that she couldn't really take in. Um, or if red light, maybe she's like, that's not how it goes. I don't do that. We wouldn't
right,
have gone that far with Jimmy at all, right?
right.
So we would be tracking Caroline the whole time because it's important that both people are feeling safe and seen. Um,
I'm glad you say that because there was a couple of times as I was being Jimmy, I was like, oh, that's where the wife will speak up. I kind of had that feeling of like I can just picture what might come up from the wife. There's a couple
right,
of times I was like, you know,
right. And there's, of
so that
course,
is more normal, right? That you don't get quite that uninterrupted time to really do the affect assembly fully with one partner, that there is some, as you say, like keeping an eye on and managing, what comes
right.
from the partner too. But
And Jimmy was very self-aware. He's very like, he was just really like, his emotions are on, the surface, easy to find. Obviously,
yeah,
that's not always the case with
right.
with clients, right? Sometimes we really have to, they kind of maybe are more stuck in demand, or they're stuck in anger or
Mm,
frustration. And sometimes they're just like Jimmy. So there's a range, right?
yeah.
And there's different choice points. So like he mentioned feeling rejected, hearing no. And for some, that might have been where we went in deeper, right? Around the rejection, around no. Um, I think I just went with the disgust around obligatory sex because it seemed like there was a more emotion in that. But there might, the next session after I processed things with Caroline, it might be we talk about the feeling of rejection. Um, I might also help them like put together kind of a timeline of, okay, so when did things start to go? And that might be in kind of the more assessment questions, right? When did things start to go sideways? What did that look like? Because they weren't always where they are now, right? How did they get from this great, what they both described as a fulfilling, mutually pleasurable sexual relationship to we're having sex a few times a year, we're not talking about it, we're both sort of unhappy with the frequency, whatever it is. How did we get from here to there? So that would be more in the assessment is like these, and so I would know more information, right? Like in that I would know, have learned a lot. Yeah. Is there anything else that comes up for you, Laura, about a session like this or different points in the session?
I like that you point out that, yeah, this was a little, I was trying to be an easier client. I think for demos that's important, to be able to see the basics of the moves. And I appreciate you talking about how we would manage, yeah, with more emotion in the room, and things. So, I think, I mean, but even in this, right, you can feel how you have to be willing to lean into things that's painful, to paint the pain for the couple.
Right.
You know,
And you can really see how it's just EFT, but we're talking
yes,
about sex,
mm,
right? I mean, I think that to me is very grounding and reassuring is like,
yeah,
okay, I know how to do EFT. Just talking
uh,
about this specific topic, like this, we can
mhm,
do this.
mhm. Yes. So I'm looking forward to being able to, I think probably we wrap it up, here, and then we do Caroline in the next episode.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Spiller. I hope this was helpful to you all out there, and we'd love to hear from you as usual with thoughts or ideas for other show topics that you'd like us to discuss. And we'll see you guys next time.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Bye bye.